Hey, my name is Brent here on Cloudy with the Chance of Meeples. Today on the channel, we are heading to Middle Earth to attempt to destroy the One Ring in Mount Doom. Today we are looking at the cooperative roll and move game. Yes, you heard that right, roll and move. The game The Lord of the Rings Adventure to Mount Doom. There's more going on than just rolling and moving, but essentially that is the main mechanism in this game. It is cooperative, as I mentioned, but let me show you how this plays in the radar overview, and then I'll come back and I'll show you my final forecast. Cue the thunder. The radar overview for Lord of the Rings Adventure to Mount Doom looks something like this. I will say that this box is just too big for the game. There's a lot of empty space in the box just for some standees, some cards, and some dice. But how does this game play? This is a cooperative roll and move game. Yes, you kind of heard that right. Don't turn off the video just yet. But in this game, you will be trying to get the ring bearer, Frodo and Sam, all the way through these areas, all the way up to Mount Doom, going through Helm's Deep and Gondor and Rowan and stuff. So let's show you how you play this game. On your turn, I'm just going to scoot this up. I'm not going to show you the whole board all at the same time. So you are going to roll the 2 encounter dice each turn, and you will roll 2 out of the 5 fellowship dice. So let's say it's my turn. I'm going to show you how this plays, just me, solo. So you have to keep one of the 2 fellowship die and one of the 2 encounter dice. And obviously 1 and 6 right now, I don't know what they are. Each of these locations on the board have different decks, and I'm pretty confident either 5 or 6 of these are good, are bad, sorry, and 1 or 2 are good each time. So these definitely could be bad, and I think they are because 2 of the good ones are out here. But I have to pick one of them, so I'm going to pick 6. And then I'm going to move Gimli 2. At that point, I take these 2 and 1 additional fellowship die, and then I have to obviously keep this, and let's move Merry and Pippin 5. After that, I'll now resolve. I'll read it from left to right, top to bottom. So 6 first, I flip it over. Oh, perfect. Balrog of Moria. Right away, I lose 3 courage. If this courage goes all the way down to the bottom ever, automatic loss. Game over. Also, lose if all of the Nazgul fill up Minas Morgul, you automatically lose. So that happens. He is now out of the game, but he also captures Gandalf. My apologies if I call him Merlin. I'm not the biggest fan of Lord of the Rings. I enjoy it, but I often mess up and say Merlin instead of Gandalf. But Gandalf stuck at Helm's Deep. We got to capture him we got to get him back when we make it there. At that point, 2, move Gimli twice. 1, 2. Activate encounter number 3. Green means friends. That's good. Arwen. We can ignore the events associated with 1 game board space. We will put her over here, and this is an ability that we can use throughout the game. Now, move Merry and Pippin 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do a couple more turns to show you how exactly this works, but it's pretty much eat, sleep, repeat with what we just did. Let's move these guys. Okay, 1, 2. Well, this is probably bad. Saruman, he's not good. He's up to no good. So we're going to take him. This could be worse. And let's say we're going to do that. And we will move, let's do this again. 4. Not good. No chance to change that one. And we'll take Legolas, not Aragorn. So now we resolve. Saruman, we got to put 2 warriors up in Isengard off the screen, sorry. And then we got 5 for Aragorn. 3, 4, 5. 4, we got to add a Nazgul. Again, not good. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now let's move the ring bearer. 3. Okay, well, that kind of helps us. They're both 3. What else do we got? We're going to do those, the ring bear, and now we're going to, gotta take that 1, and we're going to do 2. So, activate encounter number 3. Well, there's no card there, but that means now we can move Gimli either 0, 1, or 2 spaces. And we know we're going to move him 2 later, so if we move him 2, 2, yeah, that's fine. We'll move him 2. 1, 2. Ring bear, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is when it gets a little crazy because now we have to flip. Oh, we have to fight a cave troll. Okay, that's where the white battle die comes in. Now, we must roll this. Anybody who is at the same location or further ahead in the journey with the ring bear can help us. Anybody behind us cannot. So at that point, we roll this. And, well, Sauron, I have Sauron. We automatically lose 1, 2. But say we would have rolled Aragorn. We would have lost that one as well because he is, in fact, behind the ring bear. So you need to kind of move everybody ahead and then the ring bear kind of follows suit. I will also say anytime you land on these spaces, you add Nazgul. Anytime you land on these heart spaces, you keep losing courage. And like I said, your courage track gets to the bottom, you automatically lose. There is a way to gain courage, and that is if ever, say we activated and rolled a 2 or a 3 for Merry and Pippin, if any of the Fellowship, not the ring bear, if any of the Fellowship make it to the next destination with the exact amount of movements, you gain a courage. If ever the ring bear makes it to the next step in the journey, you gain another Gandalf card. Of course, if Gandalf is stuck at Helm's Deep, you cannot use these cards until you make it to Helm's Deep. As soon as the ring bear makes it to the next location, that concludes that stage of the journey, and you would then, we're moving off to Rohan, so we would shuffle these cards up once again, put these new cards out, and we would start again. You may do that all the way through, fighting the guys in Isengard, be careful of the Nazgul, and as soon as you get the ring bear to Minas Morgul, the game changes a bit. At that point, you will put some of these awful cards for Mount Doom, and like I said, there are a couple cards in each of these different locations that are actually good. I will show you what these are. Some of these obviously would be face up, face down, much like it is in the rest of the game. So you'd set it up like this. But you don't get to use the Fellowship dice anymore. You can't use any friend card. Gandalf's of no help. You have to do the final bit of the journey on your own. At that point, you just roll one of the black dice, and then you would trigger number 3. Well, that would help. After you trigger that, you move the ring bear 1 space closer to the end. Now let's do it again. A 5. Okay, well, a sting. Roll 1 black encounter. If you roll a 1, you don't lose any courage. 2 to 3, you lose 1. And 4 through 6, we lose 2. 1, 2. After you activate that, then he takes another step. Let's see if we're going to make it all the way there. 1, 2, 3. Well, we just gained some courage. We're moving 1 step closer. Do it again. 3. More courage. 1 step closer. 2. Golem's coming after us. 1. What is it? Look at that. Galadriel helped us out. Finally, a 6, and that is Golem's Deceit. 1, 2, and slide it back down, and we make it to Mount Doom. Typically, you start going to Mount Doom very low on the courage track, and you're going to need some lucky dice rolls, and hopefully the Eagles and Galadriel will be in there to help you out. But yeah, and you also got to watch out for Shelob as well, because It'll make you stop in your tracks and you can't move the ring bearer that turn. But that's how you play Lord of the Rings Adventure to Mount Doom. Like I said, all these Sauron's Eye, this thing's terrible. You could have courage up to the top and you activate this and you drop all the way almost down to losing. Terrible. You got to fight the orcs. Watch out for the Nazgul, the Uruk-hai. Treebeard will help you. Faramir will help you. Grond, you lose more courage. So each of them have some pretty terrible things, but some helpers. You will be, like I said, rolling and moving. Some luck, some card play at the correct time will help you win the game, hopefully. But that is how you play Lord of the Rings Adventure to Mount Doom. Let's now take a look at the final forecast. So the final forecast for the Lord of the Rings Adventure to Mount Doom looks something like this. Let's dive in. Lord of the Rings, an IP that I know, but I'm not like head over heels in love with the IP. I know the whole overarching story. I know the majority of the characters, not from reading the books or seeing the movies, just from pop culture and, piecing things together per se. Like I said, never read the books, virtually haven't seen any of the movies, seen the first one a couple times, and that's kind of about it. To the extent of my knowledge of Lord of the Rings. But this game, it's got a nice look to it. The box, a little big, okay? Like, all the components can fit into one of these wells. Hopefully they won't fall out. They can fit into one of these wells. The box is considerably bigger than it needs to be. The game board, it looks nice. It's got, these this nice illustration of Middle Earth, and it's got the places, like Rohan and Rivendell and Gondor and Helm's Deep. Like, it has all these places that one familiar with Lord of the Rings will be familiar with. And like I said, I know of these names through just pop culture and whatnot. But the board is nice. The cards, they are not lit and finished, but they're all right. There's a lot of bad cards in here, meaning this game's going to beat you up again and again and again. But I'm going to talk about what I like about the game before I dive into how this game is going to beat you up again and again and again. This is a roll and move game, okay? So if you are just getting into the hobby and this game kind of looks a little bit intimidating to you, if you're familiar with games like Monopoly and Sorry and Trouble and things like that, rolling, moving, that's kind of the main mechanism in this game. This little book with the encounter dice and the fellowship dice, this is a neat little way to manipulate, I guess, per se, the roll and move, because you're rolling the 2 encounter dice and 2 fellowship dice. And then you get to pick one of each. Then you roll those 2 and an additional one again. And then you still have choice with the fellowship dice, but whatever the encounter die shows the second time, you have to just live with that decision. Well, it's not a decision. You have to live with that dice roll, unless you have a Gandalf card that can affect that. So you have some decision making, but then sometimes you don't have decision making. Sometimes the decision making is very simple because you're like, hey, if we move, Gimli 4 spaces, he's going to add Nazgul. Bad. Don't do that. Clearly, we're going to, again, then just move Legolas 3 and maybe lose a courage or be in a safe spot. Like, so some of the decision making is obvious, but sometimes there are some tougher decisions where, like, okay, do we move, this character and set up to maybe reach the next destination perfectly and gain a courage, or do we move a different character so that they are ahead of the ring bearer, because every time you battle you only get the help of the fellowship that is in front of or in the same location as the ring bearer. So there are some different decisions to be made in this game. That's kind of the thing that I love the most about this game. Not ironically, but like that's what I enjoy. I enjoy playing with my son and having those conversations and be like, hey, well, you know what? Can we chance it and actually add a Nazgul, or should we, fight this cave troll instead, or fight this person instead, or deal with that consequence instead? And kind of like there is a little bit of a push your luck aspect to it, because how far are you going to let Frodo and Sam get ahead of some of your Fellowship team members? Because again, you only have the help of the Fellowship who's in the same spot or ahead of Frodo, kind of clearing the path. So there's some like fun decision making in that regard. But overall, this game is a challenge. Okay, let's talk about this. Every one of these like locations, destinations, there's 7 of them. There's 7 cards per. 2 are good, 5 are bad. You're always going to see 5 out of the 6, or 4 out of the 6, pardon me, with 2 of them are going to be flipped upside down. And so there's a little bit of a like, can we chance it? Should we take a 1? Because maybe that card underneath is actually one of the good cards? Or do we just stay safe and keep it safe and use whatever's in front of us? So it has some of those like tense decision making, but there's like so many cards that will just beat you up in this game again and again and again. And that's kind of where the game falls apart for me. This game is ridiculously hard to beat. And I'm fine losing at cooperative games. I'm totally fine. I'm fine, playing a cooperative game for half hour, 35 minutes, and losing. And then just, either start it again or just be like, hey, next time. But in a game that plays 45 to 60 minutes, I don't know if I'm necessarily keen on losing due to bad dice rolling. That will happen again and again. I've played this a dozen times. I've won it twice. I won it the 3rd time. First time we got demolished. We were just learning the game. Second time we got it to this like one space away from winning. And it kind of like whet the appetite of like, okay, next time we're going to get it. And then the 3rd time, played it. And that final stage of Mount Doom, we got like the absolute perfect dice rolls. And our courage track just kept going higher and higher. And then we won. And then I sat back and I was like, that just felt lucky. It didn't feel as satisfying because I felt it was just lucky. So I played it again and again and again. And then I got personal. And then I was like, I'm going to beat this game. And finally, on my 12th time, I beat it again. I still felt I got the absolute perfect dice rolls because I had Treebeard and I activated, or I fought the bad guys, the Uruk-hai, and then I got courage, and I feel that's how I won the game, by having some lucky dice rolls. Because when you get to the end of Mount Doom, when you get to the final stage, like every one of those encounters seem to be so bad. Golem's Deceit, lose 2 courage. The One Ring's Power, roll 1 black encounter die. If you roll a 1 to 5, you're safe. If you roll a 6, you lose 5 hearts. You could lose the game on one roll. You could go into that final stage on Mount Doom, have 5 hearts, sitting pretty, roll that encounter, roll a 6, done. You lose the game. After 45, 50 minutes of all that hard work, 1 dice roll, and you're done. I personally don't find that fun. This game is incredibly punishing. And like I said, when you win, the 2 times I won, I just felt like I just had the perfect luck. All the decision making throughout the whole thing just seemed like it didn't matter because I just got lucky at the end. I've almost lost this game like in the first stage. Just rolling bad encounter die, having to add Nazgul. And so I don't know, like this is only a 60% chance of Meeples for me. I wanted to like it. I really did. I was really excited because I could kind of bring my boy into Lord of the Rings. He's getting to that age where Lord of the Rings kind of excites him, and I could show him kind of the overarching story and the characters and all these things. But it just comes down to rolling the dice, and yeah, I get it. Roll and move, you're going to have luck of the dice. But in a game that lasts this long, to then just get beaten up again and again, yeah, not for me. 60% chance of Meeples. If I would have reviewed this, like, after the first, like, 3 or 4 plays, I probably would have given it much higher, because I would have been like, hey, you know what? The second game we played, almost won. Third game, we won. Fourth game, almost won. You know, like maybe it is actually easier than it appears. Nope, it's definitely not easier than it appears. I felt and I feel like the Colorado Rockies of 2025 when playing this game. I'm just getting decimated all the time. 2 out of 12, that's too low of a win percentage for me, so not my cup of tea. Might be for you, but it isn't for me. 60% chance of meeples for the Lord of the Rings Adventure to Mount Doom. My name is Brent. Until next time, grab your umbrella. The forecast is cloudy with a chance of meeples.